Today, we're going to be picking up from where we left off in regards to USDJPY. I made a couple calls around 5 days ago when I did a video on this particular asset, and it looks like market has kind of moved in the direction as to what I thought it was going to do, or what I was hoping it was going to do, yet to give us the levels that we're looking for so we can re-engage in USDJPY. Right, so a lot of the times when it comes to moving around in the markets, placing trades, etc., a lot of the time, right, that's if once you get to the point of where you're not so much emotionally run anymore, and it's a process that you're going to have to get through, my fellow traders, right? So this is not a slight dig at anyone. Basically, we all have to go through this journey, right? The ones that do ultimately, you begin to see a change in their knowledge and how they move in the market. As just a general rule, they do things a lot more proper. The trades are a lot better, and they get far more wins than they are getting losses, just because they've managed to get their emotions under control. Now, the emotion sides of getting your emotions under control isn't sitting around meditating, I don't know, trying to tell yourself, oh, you know what, I can't be emotional and all the rest of it. No, that's not where that comes from. That comes from you knowing what you're doing, right? Because let me ask you a question, right? How many dangerous jobs are out there in this world, right? And if you look at the individuals that are doing those jobs, right, what you will realize is they spend so much time training, they become super confident in what it is that they're doing, right? And because they're now super confident in what it is that they're doing, they no longer go into that field and are emotionally charged. So emotions like fear and pride and all of that, all of that's gone out the window. Why? Because they know what they're doing. So it's just, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. And that's the stage that we need to get to, right? So me personally, I'm not going to confirm nor deny if I have actually reached this level or not, because I don't think that's important, right? But however, I am aware of what it would look like if I was to reach that level, in terms of being able to wait patiently for market to do what market is going to do. Now, with that said and done, we're going to get on with the analysis right now. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is where market currently is right now. So right now, market has come into this low value node area right here. Okay, so which means that when I was doing the recording, we were somewhere around here somewhere. We were somewhere around here, right? Somewhere at this level. So now market is continued to sell all the way down. It would have been easy to get into. So say, for example, if you had bought here after, say, watching the video. What day was this? This was Wednesday. Okay, cool. So Wednesday, you watch this, right? And market continues to push upwards, right? So market pushes upwards because you bought here, it pushes up. Then in the following day, market then comes in lower and then knocks you out. Okay, obviously you have to accept that loss, right? Such is life, you have to accept it. But then price comes in there and it bounces off again, and then you decide to go in there with an upper buy, right? It moves up again, right? You do nothing, and then it comes down, and then it gives you a lower low in terms of it closes below the previous swing low and then shakes you out the game. Okay, at this point now, you're going to need to make a decision as to if you want to keep trying to buy the market, or if you're going to sell the market, or if, which is the best decision, if you're going to wait. If you're going to wait, because conditions for a buy was not met here, but you believed it was because you saw a push to the upside. So it was, you were right in the short term, but in the long term, you were wrong. Just as you were right in the short term over here, but in the long term, you're wrong. So at this point, this is where, because you know what it is that you're doing, you can turn around and say that I am struggling to read the market right now, so I'm going to step away until it gives me a clear indicator, or clear indication of what it plans to do. This is what I mean by when you reach this level of understanding what you're doing and how you're doing it. This is where you're able to then find your movements in the market a lot more fluid, right? And there is a lot more thinking involved, and because of that, chances of you making mistakes in the market is heavily reduced, right? Okay, so now as it stands, we now have market, like I was saying earlier, in this low value node area, which is a great decision because now, hang on, let me see if I can get my thingamajig back up again. Okay, here we are. Perfect. There we are. So now the first condition in order for us to take a trade has now been met. The first condition, right? So what was the first condition? Was so long as we could get price in this low value node area over here, okay, it makes the decisions that we're going to take afterwards really clear and simple, right? So if price moves up and close above this level, we are taking buys, right? And we put in a reasonable size stop in there because there is a high probability that if it moves away from this, it's going to be moving away properly, right? So for that, we will add in another condition as well, okay, which is we want price to move from where it is and close above this level over here, but we need the close to take place above this swing high over here. So we need the open and close above this level over here to make a buy in this location, make it make sense, right? So now taking buys at this location has become simple. Same with the sells. So this is the sell number right here, okay? We want to see a close below this level right here for us to consider taking sells. Once we get that close, we know what to do, right? We know what to do. We can either wait for a retest or we can jump in immediately. But bottom line is this, is that with these trades over here, okay, and the mistake can only take place in how you basically handle your stop, right? If your stop is placed properly, chances are is if you make one mistake, the other is the correct answer, if that makes sense. So let's say price comes in here, right, closes, you put in your sell, and then it blasts back up again. You're taking out because your stop is, say, up here somewhere, right? And it goes into your stop and takes you out. You now know that it's going up. You would now know it's going up. The chances of what I said now being wrong, right, is quite low. In the scenario that I've just painted, it's quite low. Especially if things are done in the way that I've described, it's quite low. Because for you to be wrong on one side, you have to be correct on the other side. For you to be correct on the other side, you're going to have to be wrong on the other side, right? And the reason why it's so effective is because we're actually using something that really is a fixed point in the market, and that is the volume profile. That is the volume profile. Because where this whole situation over here will turn bullish is when price comes into this low value node area over here, right? And then moves away. Because what that basically means in regards to managing trades in the volume profile is from this location over here, we will take our buys, right? But it's in this location over here. It's not where price is right now. It's where we are right here. This is where we will take our buys from if we get a push at this level. This, where is the next one? Up here is where we will take our sells from, right? So price will go into this low value node here above the high value area, right? Into the low value area, but also into the low value node, which is this area right here. And then it will push away from it. And then once it pushes away from it and it closes under the level that marks out the high end of the high value area, okay, we know it's coming down. And the most likeliest location will be straight through to the point of control, which is over here, and it will make its way all the way down to around this level right here. okay? But that's not what we have right now. What we have is prices going down into this area. So a close below here, we can jump in on a quick sell to see if it's going to take us to this low value node area. And if it does, great, we take our money and then obviously wait. And then if it pushes up again and we see that it's closed above this level, we would then wait, we'll prepare, you could jump in, but I would say wait. As soon as it peaks into the high value area again, at this level right here, this is where I'll say get in. And then we get in and then we ride it all the way up to the top side. And then that's an easy X amount of pips, right? So that's how I would do it. So these levels that I've marked out in this area right here, they all stand. There is no change to it whatsoever. No change. It remains the same, okay? This area has been a little bit tricky to navigate. It's played a lot of games, right? And I can't turn around and apologize for it because market does what market is going to do. But based on some of the stuff that I talked to you guys about, you should know how to move. So even if you manage to mess it up, right, you still could have gotten paid by trading this location over here, right? When it came in and it closed above, right, and then you saw that move to the downside again, if your stop was in a really good location, let's say around this level over here, you could have hopped out. And then mid-afternoon yesterday, when you saw price come back into this zone over here and then start to move away, you would know that, okay, it's an easy sell-off trade, and then you could have just gone in and just sold your way all the way down to the bottom, right? These are things you could have done, right? But however, most of you finding out about trading or are interested in trading, depending on how you're treating your education, you really want to learn about the markets, which is the best way, or you want to become a billionaire tomorrow, right? If you're trying to become a billionaire tomorrow, little moves like these things over here where it's gone in, it's come down, and then it's pushed up, but it's created a crossover to say it's going to go down further, chances are you would have missed that. You would have missed that, right? Because that is not going to be how you've been trained to look at the market. You've been trained to look for, I don't know, say an FVG. You see an FVG and then you want to get in, and then it goes all pear shape, and then you see that, then you want to get in, and then you will get, yeah, so it's touch and go. But bottom line is this, is that if you're in it to actually learn the game, you can learn the game, and it does take time, but once you do learn it, you've got something here. You've actually got something that is super valuable, right? If you just take the time to learn it. And that's all that I can put forward to you guys. Hence why I'm not selling you a course, because I'm not going to sell you guys anything besides the t-shirt, and even that I don't even feel like selling you, right? Because I'm like, it makes no sense for me to be selling you something at this stage of the development, because I'm still developing myself. So I can't turn around and say I'm going to sell you something. I can tell you what it is I'm going to be doing, but once I have this down, right, that's when I'm going to start selling you a course. It's not I'm never going to sell you a course. When I start selling you a course, believe you me, I will have receipts, track record, everything to say I'm the guy. Right now, I don't. So all I can do is tell you how I'm doing things, but I can't actually sell you a course. But that will come in due time, because I think I'm beginning to get my head around this system, if I may say so myself. So with that all said and done, right, I believe I've dropped some nice gems for you guys today, right? And if you stayed with this channel or with this content up until now, you definitely owe me a subscribe, because not only have I dropped gems, I've just dropped gems, right? So it makes sense to hit that subscribe button. It makes sense to turn on the notification, and it makes sense for you to drop us a like, right? Because you know, this came from the depths of my soul to help you guys get paid, right? And in saying that, it's important I say this: I am not a financial advisor giving you financial advice, right? Anything you do is on you. I'm just trying to aid forward, help you see things that you may not have seen, right? So with that said, my awesome people from all around the world, I'm going to see all of you amazing people again on the next one.